While OP trusted his partner with his life, that all went down the drain when he found out she was doing unthinkable things with a guy from her work. To find out how this story ends, get yourself a coffee and grab a bowl of popcorn so we can get into it.
Me and my wife have been married for 5 years, together for a total of 13, and have been a couple since our late teens. And believe it or not, we were basically each other's first everything. She was my first serious relationship, first sexual partner, and my first love. We were even hoping to start a family in the near future. I deeply trusted my wife and never ever thought she would do as much as hold hands with another man. So imagine my shock when I found out that her cheating was full-blown nuclear. I noticed that her behavior had been off for the past several months, and she'd get new hairstyles, makeup, clothes, dress more provocatively, a new friend group, of whom I knew nothing of and never met, and she posted thirst trap pictures on Instagram. Also, she routinely stayed out late with her friends, or went to sleepovers with them because she'd be too drunk to drive herself home on a random Tuesday night. It was crazy because it happened routinely for several months, multiple times a week. I was so emotionally exhausted due to my career and working over 80 hours a week that I didn't have the energy to put the pieces together. I was in survival mode, and on a few occasions I even asked her if she was cheating, but she brushed it off. Well, a few weeks ago we were hanging out and watching TV, and she was vigorously texting someone all night. At this point, things seemed really off, and she even had a unique text tone for the person she was messaging, which was odd. Throughout our whole relationship, I'd never ever gone through her phone, so my degree of suspicion was very high. When she went to the bathroom, I searched her phone for the word sex, and many iMessage texts came up with her affair partner's name, Noah. When she was on her way back from the restroom, I put her phone back and tried to act cool until she went to bed. When she went to sleep, I searched through her phone again and found out that she'd been having an emotional and physical affair with Noah for 4 months. Before returning her phone, I messaged Noah to tell him that she's married. Now, all of her odd behavior was starting to make sense, and after reading through their messages, I saw that in the last 3 months, she'd met up with this guy at least 20 times to hang out and sleep together, sometimes even staying at his house overnight to cuddle. While this was going on, she would tell me that she was with her female friends, which was now an obvious lie. Whenever she told me she was with her family, she was with him, and whenever she was staying late at work, she was with him. She even went on a weekend vacation with this guy, and they stayed in a fancy hotel together, and naturally, she told me that she'd be having a girls' weekend. In some of the pictures I saw, she wasn't wearing her wedding ring, so I suspect that Noah didn't know she was married. I don't even know how she found this guy, and she flawlessly executed the appearance of being a single woman in this second life of hers, at least until she got caught and exposed. She lied and deceived me so many times about everything, and I trusted this woman more than anyone in the world, but she broke me in the worst possible way. While their text messages likely detail just the tip of the iceberg of what they did together, the text messages they sent were obscene. She'd talk about how she loves it when he finishes inside her, the size of his junk, and even wanted to check out some adult stores with him. She did derogatory acts with him that she would never do with me, things that I really can't talk about here. While I quickly exposed this to her family, I didn't tell them about the really filthy stuff. She never used protection with him, and she's not on birth control, so she risked exposing me to STDs, and worst of all, she did this over a dozen times and didn't have any remorse. She constantly begged him to hang out, leaving behind her chump husband of 5 years to take care of the house, career, and bills, all while she had wild romps with Noah. What the hell was she thinking? Because she clearly wasn't caring about me or the marriage. Painfully, she'd do these things with him, then come home to me while freshly contaminated by him. Maybe my recent behavior contributed to her poor decisions, as she's a very insecure person, mainly about being increasingly overweight, and I was emotionally unavailable due to the demands of my career. I was routinely exhausted and had little emotional energy to offer the relationship, and the stress of my career did a number on my libido, so she was often turned away, which is probably extra damaging to an insecure woman. Whenever we did sleep together, it was vanilla, but I didn't mind, because at this point in my life, I have a lot of stressors, so getting laid wasn't a high priority for me. Therefore, and in her words, she sought attention elsewhere because she felt sad, lonely, and insecure, and wanted validation. She knew that my career would be like this before marrying me, and said she would always be by my side. It's clear to me now that she was already over the relationship, seeing how easy it was for her to have an affair, lie to me, and allow another man to pleasure her while keeping me in her back pocket. She also financially abused me as I paid all the bills, and she spent her income on herself and Noah. Boy, am I a chump. Anyway, back to D-Day. I recorded all the evidence on her phone and kicked her out of the house. She stayed with a friend until I ultimately decided to leave town to be closer to my family, which is where I am now, halfway across the country from her. I've taken a leave of absence from work because of the emotional turmoil, and doing all the right things such as therapy, eating right, exercising, self-reflection, cutting vices, and getting peer support. I haven't seen or spoken with this woman since I found all this out, and we've barely communicated over text. In our limited conversations, she did say that she was extremely sorry, hates herself for how she hurt me in our marriage, and how her actions were horrendous. She's even said that she'd do anything and everything to make our marriage work. She's told me that she loves me more than anything and cannot live life without me, which I know is a lie because in her messages to Noah, she said she was falling for him and wanted to be with him. While she was telling him all that, though, he would always say that he wants to keep it casual. When he wouldn't give her the attention she wanted, she'd lie to him, saying that she was going on dates with other guys so she could make him jealous. Honestly, if Noah wanted a relationship with her, she would have left me and the marriage without question. When I called her out on her words and actions, she tried to gaslight me and play the victim. Given the extent of her infidelity and lying, I could never trust or love her in the same way again, so I'm proceeding with the divorce. While I crave closure from her about everything, I doubt she would tell me the whole truth, so I'll most likely have to live with that, and the consequences of her actions, but she's now free to go screw whoever she wants.
Cheating stories in which the unfaithful partner is sleeping with others and not using protection is why I've started to think that the consent of the betrayed partner should be taken into account. When getting married, it's often the case that the two people involved are agreeing to not share their bodies with others, so their partner shouldn't be at risk for whatever could result from that. The thing is, when someone breaks that promise and continues to sleep with their spouse, they have taken away their consent because maybe they wouldn't want to continue being intimate with their partner if they knew the truth. But that's a story for another day. I'm glad that OP was able to escape this relationship, so let's see what's being said in the comments.
Topo says, "First off, I'm really sorry that this happened to you. But just know you're 100% doing the right thing and moving on from her, proceeding with the divorce, and going no contact. I understand that it seems hard not having the closure you feel you need to move on, but what can make it easier is realizing that she's not remorseful for cheating on you. She's just sorry that she got caught. Selfish human beings like that aren't capable of giving anyone closure. I know this sounds cliche, but things will get better, and time truly does heal all wounds. Therapy, opening up with loved ones, putting yourself in a good environment and making new friends is important on the road to getting better. So I hope you find peace." Appropriate Wafer says, "Let your family and friends know what she did. This is still fresh, so obviously it's going to hurt for a while. Continue doing therapy and stay no contact with her. It's a good thing that you don't have kids with her. She lost you and will also lose Noah. She's a sad, insecure woman who will have no one in her life, but you're young, so you can start over and find someone who loves you and respects you."
I wish that everyone was like OP and had the strength to leave their cheating spouse, but one can only dream. While sometimes it may feel like it's much easier to stay with someone after they've betrayed your trust, but for many people, they never truly get over what was done to them. While there are various things that will play a role in whether a betrayed spouse chooses to stay or leave, in the end, they must think long-term and truly consider what's best for them. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Coffee and Popcorn, and I can't wait to see you on the next one.